Hey guys, how's it going? So, 2025 is looking to be a very exciting and interesting year for city builders. There are dozens of new titles coming out on Steam next year that have a lot of us really excited and buzzing around waiting for them to be released. From innovative new mechanics to jaw-dropping visuals, these games are redefining the city building genre and promising countless hours of creative fun. However, out of all those games coming out next year, these are the 5 that I am most excited for and will probably be featured here on the channel. Being developed by Lion Shield and published by Hooded Horse, one of the biggest names in indie game publishing, Nova Roma has you stepping into the role of a leader in the golden age of ancient Rome. The city building game is going to be combining some deep strategy, really gorgeous visuals, and some historically inspired challenges. We're going to be building some nice big bustling cities, managing resources, and navigating political intrigue with the Senate. And there are a lot of interesting mechanics coming with this game. We're going to be able to build massive dams and aqueducts to control the flow of water, creating artificial watersheds and reservoirs. We're going to be paying attention to your impact on soil fertility as you grow crops and deal with pollution. And we have to build infrastructure to transport raw resources and processed goods across all of your territories. Religion is also going to play a part in this, and where we might risk the wrath of the gods if we're not careful enough and we don't pay enough devotion and homage to those Roman deities. From the screenshots and trailers that we've seen for this game, it looks really interesting, very exciting, and I do love a good Roman city builder, so I'm definitely looking forward to Nova Roma. Next up, we have Kaiserpunk. Now, this is a game that I do have a couple of gameplay videos on the channel. However, those gameplay videos are from a very early version of the game, and since then we have seen some massive development changes and overhauls to the game itself, and it looks to be a really in-depth and very interesting game that I'm looking forward to playing the full release version of. In Kaiserpunk, we actually are crafting a metropolis in an alternate timeline where towering brass gears, steam-powered airships, and really ornate architecture are going to dominate the skyline. We have to do a careful management of our city's balance between industrial progress and aristocratic influence, while we have to navigate the complexities of class struggles, resource scarcity, and really ambitious expansion. Customizable districts, dynamic societal systems, and a really fun, rich narrative are bringing Kaiserpunk together as a really challenging game where technology and tradition do collide. Some of the really interesting mechanics that we've already been shown for this game are really unique and a little different than what we've seen from other city building games. Technology is unlocked depending on how you build your city. There's not just a static technology tree that you go through and you research stuff and then you build it. How you build your city determines what gets unlocked and how your city develops and grows. There's also an entire RTS aspect to this with conquest on a global scale. There are over 100 regions that you're going to want to conquer and exploit. Every region comes with its own bonuses and penalties, so you really have to choose how you expand kind of carefully. Other AI empires on the map are competing against you, and so your city is really the base where you are going to have to build up your power base right there to take the fight to the AI across the map. The production chains in this game are really complex too. There are over 100 various resources to mine, farm, refine, and manufacture. Everything from basic clothing all the way up to your advanced steam-powered airships and bombers. So it's really all across the board, and it looks to be a really interesting game. The more I've watched it and the more I've looked at it, the more I think Kaiserpunk may have a solid spot on this channel going forward, as it kind of takes that need that a lot of people had from Anno 1800, where there was the city building aspect, but the combat was kind of lacking. Kaiserpunk is going to take all of that into one big, massive game, and I really have some high hopes for it. Airborne Empire is being developed by The Wandering Band. Now, they have made several games similar to this in the past, such as Airborne Kingdom, but Airborne Empire is definitely a unique type of game. I have played this on the channel with a couple of early access videos, and I completely fell in love with this. You actually build and control a flying city. and you have to deal with things such as yaw and pitch and everything, so your city doesn't topple over because it gets, heavier on one side than the other. So you have to deal with lift and everything. It's really, really different. The game world is absolutely massive, and you get to fly all over this place in your ever-growing giant city in the sky. There's pirates to deal with, exotic and ancient wonders to find, and there's treasures all over the map for you to go and look for. The campaign so far, what I saw, was actually pretty interesting as well. The characters are very, very rich and detailed. The dialogue choices are very fun and engaging, and actually make you want to know what's going on with this game world that they have created and figure out even more about what happened to the Airborne Empires. As you progress through the game, you're going to get access to even more interesting buildings for both defense, offense, production, as well as fully integrated systems for upgrading your buildings, dealing with fires, sickness, injuries. There's an entire light mechanic where your buildings and your pathways through the city have to be lit up, or your people can literally just fall off the side of the city and die. There's morale, augmentation relics that can completely change how your city functions. There's so much to this game in a nice, convenient little package that it is really, really cool. Now, there is an Airborne Empire demo available on Steam if you do want to try this out, so I definitely encourage you to go check that out. Links for all of the games in this video are down below in the description, so go take a look, check out the demo for this game. I think you might find that you kind of enjoy it, and you might be looking forward to the release next year on this one. Now, as a gamer that grew up in the 90s and early 2000s, the OG Impressions Games city builder Pharaoh has a special place in my heart. Now, obviously, the Pharaoh game was re-released with some upgraded mechanics and graphics and stuff, a couple of years ago, but it just didn't quite fit the bill for me. However, Builders of Egypt, which has been in development for a very long time now, is looking to probably scratch that Egyptian itch that I have on occasion. Builders of Egypt is being developed and published by Strategy Labs, and you're going to be controlling and building cities in Egypt, all the way from the Nile Delta all the way down to Nubia. Managing trade, the economy, resources, making strategic decisions about how the lands around you are going to be controlled. You get to control armies of Egyptian warriors fighting against Nubians and other threats from different regions of the world. Fostering and encouraging religious development and ensuring the well-being of your citizens. There is a complete campaign to play through, or you can play in a sandbox mode and build to your heart's content. The game will span the entire history of pharaonic Egypt, all the way from the early dynastic period under King Narmer's rule, and it will conclude in the Dendera during the Ptolemaic period under Cleopatra. As of right now, the campaign will consist of about 40 diverse different missions that'll allow you to understand the importance of strong economic and financial foundation, managing your revenue to prevent crises, remembering that trade is essential for growth. You can't do everything yourself. You'll have to rely on trade with other Egyptian towns in order to grow your cities. Standard fare for many city building games are of course here, producing goods, extracting resources, and doing trade routes. Focusing on developing roads and buildings and their surroundings, and building up infrastructure is all present in this game. Of course, as mentioned, there is an entire military side of the game where you're going to be building up armies, protecting your city with walls, and organizing military expeditions and planning assaults on neighboring cities and regions. I've played around with the demo for this several different times, and it definitely has a lot of potential. And so I'm really looking forward to when this does release so we can see where it's going to go. Now, a list of city building games that I am looking forward to would not be complete without, of course, Anno 117 Pax Romana. Following on the absolutely phenomenal success of Anno 1800, Ubisoft Minds is bringing us Anno 117, set in the golden age of the Roman Empire. Unfortunately, as of right now, we don't have a ton of information on Pax Romana, but we do have a few broad, big picture things that we know are happening. We do know that we are getting two regions to start out with, that is Latium and Albion, or Britain for anyone who isn't sure what Albion is. And with some very interesting mechanics, such as totally independent regions. You will be able to grow your Roman population in Latium from the basic entry-level residential tier all the way up to whatever the max level tier is going to be without ever having to actually go to Albion unless you want to bring in some of those luxury goods that your people might want for increased income and happiness. However, their basic needs can all be met directly there in Latium. The same is true for Albion. The Celtic population of Albion can be grown entirely from the first tier all the way to the last without ever needing input from Latium. The Celtic population can also be split, and you can have two separate population groups, Romanized Celts or traditional Celts. And that basically concludes the extent of information that we really have on Anno 117 at the moment. However, since Anno is the biggest focus of this channel, you can bet your bottom dollar that as more information comes out on 117, you will be finding it right here on this channel, and we will be exploring all of that together until the game releases later next year. What games are you guys excited for that I did not list here? Let me know down below in the comments. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Until then, guys, take care.